If you think about it, go to
すごい待ってやってもらったんやけどさ、めちゃめちゃ綺麗。Hi guys、皆さんこんにちは。さ顔なしじゃないからね、まあこの見ても通りわかるかもしれないんですけども、中東のドバイにいまして、で今日はドバイの朝ごはんを食べていきたいと思います。で今から行くとこはなんかこう朝ごはんとかを伝統的なものを食べながらドバイについてのカルチャーを学べるカルチャーアンダースタンディングっていう場所にいるんですけども、朝ごはんを今回は紹介できたらなと思います。でこのやり方をさっきここにいる女の人にやってもらって、今こんな感じで来てます。ということで今から行きたいと思います。I booked.
You booked for which program?
The
brunch?
Brunch.
It was cancelled.
It was cancelled?
Yeah. You
No
didn't get an
way.
email?
No. Really?
Yeah.
ね、みんな聞いてさ、まさかのそのプログラムがキャンセルされたので、ちょっと最悪ってことでちょっと戻りたいと思います。また明日同じ時間にあるらしいので、明日に行きたいと思います。もう最悪。
So just a quick background, we are, welcome to the Sheikh Mohammed Center for Cultural Understanding. Thank you.
It's meaning hello, welcome.
Want more coffee? We are,
Thank you.
this coffee is very light.
The coffee smell different.
It's saffron. Go to get that bread. It's like, no,
Wow.
So the chicken biryani, as I was explaining, would come from India. The chicken is marinated. It is cooked separately. It's then put together with caramelized onions and with some eggs. People in the UAE, they grew up with a lot of Indian food. So the khamir is considered one of the softest breads in the world. You put a little bit of dates inside so that there's some sweetness, and people will add the cream cheese. And I'm sure, have you had this before? You gave up? There's dates right here, you can go.
Chocolate?
Chocolates, this is date syrup. So syrup made from date. I will leave one side without date syrup. I know you don't like it, so I'll just put it over here.
Thank you. こんな感じで一つのプレートに乗せていきます。まずビリオニってやつはすごくカレーみたいな感じで細長いご飯となんかちょっと甘めのカレーと一緒に食べたんですけど、そこまで辛くなく、多分この現地の人に食べやすいように作られたものになります。でもインドで辛くるのでインドの方がもうちょっと辛いって言ってたけど、でもう一つ私のお気に入りがこのパンで食べるものなんですけど、本当はこのなんか中に豆とかを入れて食べるんですが、私豆があんま好きじゃないのでクリームチーズを入れて食べたらめちゃめちゃ美味しかったです。なんかナンのようでナンよりももうちょっと柔らかいようなパンになります。So usually do you use hand or?
Usually you use your hand. You take the rice, you push it until it becomes a ball, and you eat it like that. But during COVID, something interesting happened. You know the way men greet each other? No smiles, right?
Oh, really?
First thing they said, stop doing that. We just don't do it anymore. It used to be more common. These days it's like this or just shaking hands.
In Spain, we do it with 2 kisses.
Yeah.
It's
Some changes.
I noticed that some men wear white undercover and sometimes they wear the white and black.
For men.
What's the difference? Yeah.
There's no religious meaning or anything. This is like about living in the desert to protect yourself against the sun. The thing we have on our heads, this was to protect yourself against the sun, against the sand. When there is a sandstorm, to protect yourself that way. White and red one you see here. This is more common in Jordan and Saudi Arabia. The police would wear this before, so you can see them from far away. These days, it's really fashion. This is like the tuxedo. This is a man on his wedding day would wear this as a groom, sometimes for graduation as well. When the sheikhs or the high-ranking ministers, when they go overseas, always wear this.
And also I want to know why this culture about marriage.
In Islam, a man is allowed to have 4 wives.
4 wives?
4 wives.
Wow.
Because in the past, you know, like especially in these regions, or even like in places like China and Asia, 10 wives, 20 wives.
So how many children?
Hundreds. So in Islam, it says you can have 4, but every wife has to be treated equally.
Oh, really?
Because that's very hard. They say 1 is ideal. It's better to get married 1. But there are situations where maybe you're in a very, very small village. There's not many people. There's a war happens or something. There's not a lot of men. So to give an opportunity for people to get married. For men, because so we can know who the child, who's the father of the child. So that's why you can't have a wife have more than 1. In the UAE, if you have more than 1 wife, you have to give each wife her own house.
Oh.
You have to have their own house.
You have to be rich.
You have to be quite rich. If there's any unfair treatment, one of the wives can sue. She says, no, we're being treated unfairly, it's not equal treatment like that. So it's not as common these days. My father's generation, I only know a few people that have more than 1 wife. My generation, I don't know anyone.
Is there any push for the other way around, equality, where a woman could also have 4 husbands?
That kind of equality, not so much. If you have more than 1 husband, you can't really tell where the lineage comes from, but it's more that, women always had the right to refuse a second marriage. And now these days, maybe they're more economically independent, so they refuse a lot.
So how common is the arranged marriage?
Arranged marriages is still common.
Royal family or
Everyone. In my case, my father's from the UAE, my mother's from Canada. They met in the UK, they decided to get married. It was not arranged marriage. But whether it's arranged or whether it's choice,
Facilitated.
there's always one very important person, the mother. Now international marriages are more common. In the 80s, 70s, it wasn't very common. So people were talking, someone from another country, how does that work? So my mother met my grandmother, because my grandmother does not speak English or French. My mother does not speak Arabic, but somehow the meeting went well, because my grandmother said, no, I like her. No one could say anything. Think about this area here, where it's very hot, and the meat, you couldn't preserve the meat very much. Pig's meat was very dangerous. In the desert, if you after slaughtering the pig, the meat would get bad very, very quickly.
They were asking me.
Turkey bacon. This was also a way that people would clean their clothes. And then you put the dress right on top.
Dress?
So you could put the dress, you could put the kandora, it absorbs all the smoke, so it leaves a nice smell over here. And if you're wearing abaya, if you're wearing a ghitra, you would place it like this, just to keep
Your sinuses.
one smell, everything clears up. So you could just do this a little bit. It's a lot of smoke, so be careful.
Thank you. はい、以上がドバイの朝ごはんと文化について学ぶ動画になります。楽しんでいただけたり新しい発見があると嬉しいなと思います。この動画が良かったら高評価とチャンネル登録お願いします。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。バイバイ。